and Manning. So anyway, let's take a seat. We'll get rolling here. We're going to do a quick half an hour today. We're going to do probably a 3 to 4 week series, maybe 2 if we can cram it in there after this, on Rockstar listing agent tactics and behavior. Okay. Now, we keep talking about listings right now and the importance thereof. And earlier this week, I told you guys that we're projecting about a $10,000 shortfall in transactions in the state of Minnesota. And that's likely because, well, if there's not less agents, it's not that people don't want to buy a house. There's not less buyer demand. It's 100% the fact there's no inventory. So you guys are going to be fighting over the same houses, and it's getting to be competitive out there. So what are we seeing? Anybody seeing low listing commissions? Low payouts for buyers agents, right? Things are shifting this way. So I want to kind of outline the things we're going to be talking about over the course of the next couple of weeks. Once I find my marker, there it is. All right. So we're going to be talking about prospecting. Prospecting. Follow-up. Value prop. What do we need to mute over there? Okay, value prop. Commission. We're going to be talking about marketing. And we're going to be talking about USP and offers for sellers. So today, what I really wanted to talk to you about, last thing, this was the foundation of it all, is schedule and accountability. I'm going to not sugarcoat this, guys. Listings are hard. They're brutal. And not once you get the listing. That's not the hard part. It's actually securing the dang listing. Now, with a buyer, a lot of times you get a referral. How many people have gotten referrals for buyers? How many people have gotten an online lead for buyers? How many people are brand new and haven't done a buyer yet? There we go. I knew there's one. Okay, so this might not resonate with you, but trust me, it's true. What's going to happen is finding buyers most of the time is pretty dang easy. They walk into your open house. They're referred to you. There's very little front-end work in order to find a buyer. Once you have the buyer, that's where the work really starts. Let me guess, you're going to sit in the back row at Pinnacle. Oh, look, see, she moved up a row. I was teasing them because the largest group in the office always hides in the back. So 20 hours to 30 hours of work once you actually have a buyer to secure that buyer into getting into contract into a house. That's a grind, but you're in the car. It's fun. You're building rapport. You're with your buyer. You're hopefully getting a referral from it. It's a lot more fun and a lot of times. You're writing offers with them. You feel like you're moving forward. Listings are not that way. Listings take an average of 4 hours or less to sell once you have the listing of actual manpower. The 20 hours of work is the grind to get the listing. And it's not fun. It's not fun. You're not driving around in the car, building rapport with your buyers, high-fiving and having fun and going out to dinner after the showings. No, you're prospecting, you're marketing, you're calling, you're door knocking, you're spending money on top of it. But why do people do it? What's the motivation? What's that? It's 100% control. I want to draw this parallel real quick. There's 2 different models in real estate. You are either a personal shopper, which it'd be kind of fun to be a personal shopper in Beverly Hills, right? You take a celebrity out and you're like going to all these cool fashion places and you're shopping for them with somebody else's checkbook. That's what you're doing as a realtor, as a buyer. Or you're Costco. What I mean by that is you walk into Costco. Why do people go to Costco? Sample. See? I love it. But in a way, that's right? You go there because they have what you want. They hold the inventory of what you're looking for. The shelves are either bare because they haven't really done a good job of getting inventory, or they're stocked full. And when they're stocked full, who's coming in the door? Those personal shoppers and buyers. I'm just going to go load my cart up, go to the checkout line, pay whatever the heck that they're asking for. Do I negotiate a deal on it? Well, heck no, there's not another Costco for like 30 miles, man. I'm just going to pay the price and I'm gone. You can either be Costco or a super fancy personal shopper. When you're Costco, it takes a lot of operations to stock those shelves. There's people in place and employed to make sure those shelves are stocked at all times. Those that were with us at the listing agent boot camp probably heard a lot about the operations behind an actual listing agent, because the grind is brutal. Once you build your shelves up, you have control. The buyers are coming to you. So, can everybody read my, foreign language writing up here? Hopefully you got that written down. My writing is terrible. Here's the deal. One house you list. One house you list. How many transactions should this be?
4.5.
That's actually really, really close. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you did. Yep. That's actually between 4.5 and 5 houses per listing. Transactions, I should say. Okay. How does that work? What's the percentage of people that sell a home and buy another one with you?
2 out of 3.
You're right. Man, you were listening at the 101. It's 60 to 60%. 60 to 66.6% are going to buy and sell. So when you list 2 houses, because your 20 hours of grinding to get 1 listing, let's say you do that twice and now you got 2. You put a 40-hour work week in and you've got 2 listings. Because of the 66% ratio, you've got another piece of business right there. Your lead gen on every listing should produce no less than 2, but I'll just say, just for odds and whatever, misfortune, we'll say 1. Now, how many properties here have we got? We created with 2 listings. We got 3. What's the ratio that are going to buy and sell? At least one of them, right? At least 1. Each one of these listings should produce 1 more. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Do you guys understand the message? Do we have Apple Valley told you? Yeah, we do. Okay. Do we have anybody in Apple Valley? Yes, we do. I think I see some figures there. Okay.
There's a hand.
What's that?
Hand them out.
Okay, good. They can't see the board,
Yeah, they can.
but can they? Oh, good. Okay. I'm super good with technology, as you can tell. So for Apple Valley, can you see the board clearly? Can we get a hands up? Or not? Okay. So, good. We got a couple hands up. Perfect. The concept goes like this, guys. With that 1 buyer, on average, you'll get 1 referral for about every 7 to 10 buyers you do. Listings, you'll get 2 pieces of business every other listing. And that's for buy, sell. But you'll get also, guess what? Lead generation that'll provide this. Now let's talk a little bit more about this as well. Out of all of these, 22%, I'm going to say it like this. 66% of all sellers try to refer you at least once. 22% of sellers try to refer you at least 4 times. Think about that. Do you know why you don't get seller referrals, by the way? When you hear that number, you go, that's never happened to me. Do you know why? Because you've never educated your sellers how to refer. They try, they just don't know how to do it. So let's say, when you do the math, we've got referrals that happen. Does this board start to resonate with you guys? All right. I want you guys to see the final vision of why we're talking listings and why we're talking listings in today's market. There aren't any. And the ones that are there, the listing agent with the best practices is going to get the listings. Do you think a listing agent right now is going to make more money or less money than what 2 years ago? Who thinks more? Who thinks less? Who will not raise their hand no matter what? That's Kayla back there. She's like, nope, I'm not going to say anything. So the answer is they're going to make more. When markets shift, When things get difficult, those with systems and those with tenacity will make more money in those markets than they will in easy markets. Now, will they make more money per transaction? What's happening to commissions right now? They're coming down. Do they need to? Do they need to come down? No, they don't. Agents are really not all that good at defending their commission, or what they try to do is actually defend it. They try to butt heads and say, I'm worth it. Yet they give no physical evidence as why they're worth it. Can you show a pattern that your properties that you've sold have sold in 1 day's time or less? Can you show that they sold 16% over asking price? Can you show metrics to back up what your statement is? If you can, you're going to win that game. If you can't explain to them why paying you more makes sense, you're not going to win that game. What's our major three to four failure points that sellers experience major loss of money right now? Improper exposure. So, Amy, I think it might even been you that brought up the garage. Was it you? Okay, I love that story.
The detached 6-car garage in addition to the 2-car attached garage.
So to repeat that for everybody, improper exposure. It's not just about bad photos, okay? Keep in mind, some brokers don't even syndicate with Zillow. Some brokers don't syndicate with Realtor.com. So a broker can set up their syndication in small brokers, which there's 4,500 brokers right now in Minnesota. We don't know all these people because they're very small on the map. They list something, there's a chance that they could have it syndicated incorrectly and it doesn't go anywhere, except for the MLS. The MLS is responsible for about 35% of the sales, 35%. You lower your pool down if you're not syndicated correctly. That's number one. Number two, so do you know where we're syndicated? Can you explain that to your seller? Okay, look in our list hub. You have a list hub report. It'll explain it all. Okay, now another place they lose massive amounts of money in improper exposure, and guess where it is? Improper information. In Amy's case, there was a 6-car detached garage that never even made it on the MLS. Do you think that could have screwed up the value or lost a couple buyers over that? Big time. Or no, she brought it to my attention. It wasn't her listing. She caught it. Okay, and this is how you can list, expired and FSBOs when you're seeing improper information, improper exposure, when you bring that to light, because you're paying attention to details other people aren't catching. Improper exposure, and it doesn't just mean bad pictures, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. It could also be mismanagement of the pictures, by the way. If you don't highlight the best features of the house in the pictures, you don't often get all the buyer engagement that you want. Improper exposure can also be exposed by List Hub. When you look on List Hub and you see that nobody's looking at the property, if you know this is why I keep going back to List Hub, guys, as a listing agent, okay? Know what a listing should trend like when it's trending well, so you can see when one is not trending well, you say there's a red flag here. Only 1,000 people have received this in their search portal. Only 5% have engaged with it to even open up, and nobody has come through as a lead, meaning nobody has clicked, I want more info. Okay, that's not trending well. 5,000 views, 500 engagements, 23 people that came through as a lead, and now you can back that up to, well, I've had 75 showings and 3 offers, and it sold 16% over asking price. You can show that trend through your reporting, through your metrics. That's number one. Number two, after improper exposure, the next place they lose a lot of money, the massive amount of money that they lose is going to be improper negotiations. Improper negotiations. Anybody ever get this from a listing agent? Hey, you know what? I want to go show your house. I know it's sold under inspection, but I have a buyer that wants to see it. Nah, we're done. We don't want to show it anymore. It's already sold. 2 major sticking points that there's fall-throughs and major renegotiations that happen. Where are they? Inspection and appraisal. It's not just about taking the highest offer. It's about finding the best and finding backups that are even better. If I can say to you right now, Scott, dude, we had an inspection, it went pretty well, but we got 14 items. And you know what? I'm a cool guy. We only want 7. We just want you to take care of these 7. And the price of it's probably going to be about $2,000 to your seller. No biggie, no harm, no foul. That's $2,000 that someone lost. Okay? Because you know what the agent's going to do 9 times out of 10? They're going to go back to the seller and they're going to say, this is what we need to do to get the deal closed. Let's reframe the conversation. I say that and Scott looks at me and says, I hear your buyer. I understand that, they feel unsafe with GFIs that aren't grounded and all this other stuff. I get it, but I've got somebody else right now as a backup offer that actually is higher than yours. They know about these issues and they're ready to slide in right now, take it as is. So we're not even going to change a light bulb. We're just moving forward with this other offer. Either you got to take it or leave it. Let me know though today so I can get the other person going. Does that reframe the conversation? Improper negotiations is a place sellers lose massive amounts of money. Same with appraisal. Do you have backup offers? If you're accepting a 3.5% down convention or FHA with an escape clause, do you have one that's pretty close that's a conventional as a backup in case the appraisal doesn't happen right? Are you looking for proof of funds on your 10% down conventionals or 20% down conventionals that you're accepting, and are you having that conversation to say, look, we don't have any comps for this. You know the way the market is, you know the inventory, you know the property's worth it, but appraisal could happen. We could have an issue. What's your plan, Mr. Buyer's agent? What's you and your buyer's plan if this thing appraises light? If the answer is we're out, we're bolting, or we want you to cover the difference, that's not the right offer. If it's, you know what, we'll do something with it, cancellation's our last option, and I say to you, can you show me proof of funds and you've got some additional money to cover this? That's proper negotiations. Does that make sense? So improper exposure, improper negotiations, two major places that people lose massive amounts of money right there. Okay? Anything else? We can stick just with those two right now. I just want you guys to really focus on those two. Improper exposure, and I'll give you the third one too. You should be focusing on this. Improper pricing. Improper pricing. You know how many houses are sitting on the market right now because the sellers think they can get whatever they ask, whatever price they want, right? Improper pricing, improper exposure, improper negotiations are the three major killers of seller finance. Can you speak to that well enough that you can defend your 6 or 6.5% commission? Yes, you're going to pay me a couple $1,000s more than the other person, but let me show you how I'm going to mitigate your loss and insure you against these problems. Can the 4%er, do they have a plan for this? Yes, they've got pretty marketing, so do I. What's behind the marketing? What happens when an inquiry comes in? The next step to talk about. What is Scott Manning's plan, my competition? What is the plan? What happens? What gets triggered when somebody inquires on the property? Has Scott talked to you about that? Well, no, I mean, he's got great marketing and he sells a lot of houses. That's great. I understand that. But did you realize, Mr. Seller, that in this industry, we have a very, very disturbing response rate. 36% of people get no response at all when they inquire on a property. 36% of people get zero response. 36% of people, there's an MIT report I still have with these stats. 36% of people get no response at all. The ones that do get a response, it's 5 to 9 hours on average for that response to come in. What happens when Scott Manning gets an inquiry on the property? What gets triggered? Operationally, what happens? Let me show you what happens when I get an inquiry on a property. Here's what's triggered. And we're going to talk about that through our Rockstar listing agent. No yawning. We're going to talk about that during our Rockstar listing agent. My classes are completely weird like that. Sorry. So I can only focus for so long and my mind wanders, my ADD. We're going to talk about that concept a lot through this series, right? Operationally, can you explain and describe? Do you have a 44-point checklist perhaps of what happens on each step? When somebody inquires in, how do you capture that inquiry versus going to somebody else? How do you deal with things like dual agency and representation and advocacy? What is your final proof of the pudding? What does your numbers look like for your list to sell ratio? These are things we're going to talk about building. What is your social proof? What kind of references do you have online about you? What does Scott have? What's my competition have? Does anybody want to hear you're the #1 agent? I will stop people dead in their tracks when they try to tell me they're the #1 anything. I will literally stop them and say, I don't care. What I care about is, can you form a relationship and rapport? Can you build a bridge between me and you? Because if you can't, I don't give a crap about your numbers. What I care about is, what are you going to do for me? I don't care about you and your numbers and your bragging board. I care about, what can you do for me? If you can't speak to that, you've lost me in the first sentence. I've literally thrown loan officers out of this building because they come in here and they go, I've been doing this for 40 years. Great, you just wasted 30 seconds of my time. Please leave. That is an actual conversation I've had more than once. Yeah, it is. I don't care how long you've been doing it. I don't care how many houses you sold or how many mortgages you do. I care, what's your plan to help me? That's what they want to know. If you articulate that well enough, your 6% is not a problem, because guess what? Cost is only a problem in the absence of what? Value. Cost is only a problem in the absence of value, people. Do you know your value? Can you articulate it? And do you have an operations center that can show what that value is? Throughout the course of this listing agent course, does that sound weird? Throughout the course of this listing agent course, throughout the progression of this listing agent course, we're going to be talking a lot about, attracting the people to us through our prospecting, building out the operations to really have that rock star approach when we get the listing, and then leveraging that listing for future business. That's really the three parts, the three prongs of what we're going to be dealing with. Right now, today, I only wanted to keep this to a half an hour today. It's going to be an hour next time, okay? Because I want to give you an intro. This is really intro. I'm thinking 3, this and then 2 others, but it could be 4. Because me, I like to talk. I just get up here and keep going. So you know how that goes for me. Nobody argued, by the way. Not one of you. Thanks, guys. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I want you guys to take a hard look at this. Your assignment for the week is this. 12 p.m. Oops, I reversed that. Look at your schedule. If you truly want to look at being a listing agent, you need to have this concept down first and foremost before anything else. You need to be ready to do that grind, that prospecting, to actually find and get listings. You need to work that into your schedule. If it's not there, you know what's going to happen? Anybody have a guess? It's not there. It's not happening. Period. We all think about, today I should really go prospect. I want to go check my social media, change my laundry, walk the dog. I got a call from a buyer. A buyer wants to see a house. I'm gone. It's never going to happen. If it's not on your schedule, and if you're not forcing yourself through accountability to stick to it, you're not going to do it. Who has an accountability partner in here? 2 of you. Kim doesn't know. She thinks she does. She's like, I'm kind of, right.
Casey calls me all the time.
Here's the thing. If you don't have one right now, you do now. Partner up before we leave today, because you guys will need to help each other stay accountable to doing these activities. Because you know what? I'm going to give you the truth about them. They suck. It sucks to prospect. Unless you're one of those weird people that just love getting hung up on and stuff like that. And there is those people. I was number one myself. And Kelly, you do awesome with your, in the accelerator with ZBuyer and stuff. I would never be able to do that well. I hate that. But if you want to be a listing agent, you've got to be able to prospect, even if you don't want to. So be accountable to yourself and have a partner help you with that. Now,
What's the 12 on it?
we're going to talk about that. So we're working on our business before noon. Before noon. Working on your business. And those on your business activities are going to be prospecting, follow-up, and infrastructure. So when I say infrastructure, it's, putting together mailings. It's putting together open houses for the week. It's stuff that's building towards lead generation. We have 3 things that make us money in real estate. What are they? So close. Lead conversion. I didn't have to say it. I just did that weird thing, and you knew what I was going to do. Okay, so lead generation, lead follow-up, lead conversion, the 3 things that actually make us money in real estate. Not processing paperwork, not playing on social media, and I'll tell you what, running buyers around is not a dollar productive activity. It's really not. You'll make money, but it's not where the highest level of money earning is in real estate. 1 buyer is worth about $150 per hour. Your grind, your hourly rate for listings is probably $1,500 or more. When you look at the board with the number of things that you produce, it's a lot more lucrative to be a listing agent. Why do you think all major teams are built on listings? That's where the money is. Really is. So, and I know there's new people that go, but I love working with buyers. Kelly's like, nope. I love working with buyers. I have so much fun. That's great. If you want to be a buyer's agent and you are comfortable doing it, then do it. That's authentic. It's natural to you. Do it. If you want to be a listing agent and you want to control the inventory, if you want to be the personal shopper, we need personal shoppers in this industry or we have no buyers that are getting covered. If you want to be a listing agent, this is what's going to take. It's a grind, and you have to schedule it in, and you have to have the dollar producing activities such as prospecting. And by the way, we're going to talk next week what prospecting looks like. So this week, your job is just start setting your schedule up. That's it. That's all you got to do. Start setting it up and getting used to not taking buyer appointments at 11 o'clock. Don't take buyer appointments at 9 o'clock. Get them pushed after noon, because working in your business means all the things you've generated, now you're working in that space. Generate a buyer, keep them to afternoon. Does that make sense to everybody? Is Apple Valley sleeping on me here, or are we still good? They're muted, I think. So, we see hands. Perfect. Oh, I see some like fist pumps. Perfect. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. You're saying do all your business until noon?
Yeah, so working on your business. So that's going to be lead generation. It's going to be follow-up. It's going to be everything you can do to produce prospects. And the prospects get moved, and you're actually working with them to the afternoon. We mix that up a lot of times.
A lot of our training is in the morning.
It is, but that's part of working on business. Yep,
Okay.
it is. Yep, so education is part of that. That's infrastructure. Yep.
Because I was going to say like 2-3 days out of the week I'm in training or something.
Yep, 100%. And that's exactly what you got to be able to look at the topics and say, I'm going to watch this recording or I'm going to go to this one live. So you can move some of that to different times. That's why we try to record as much as we can too. Yep, but education is part of infrastructure because that's where you get the ideas to formulate to put into business practice. So my schedule looks like this for you guys. Up in the morning, do something physically active. I got one of the guys I coach out of Denver, out of Florida. He's lost 23 pounds now because I made him get his lazy ass up and actually go to the gym every morning because he wouldn't get motivated to do anything. I do that and all of a sudden he's on fire. He's doing great. So get up, do something physical, get the blood moving, be at your desk at the same time every single day. If it's just sort of like, I'll get there when I get there, it doesn't work. It has to be structured. So like by 8 in the morning, be in your chair, butts in the chair. Have your stuff done from the night before so it's laid out. Don't sit there and go, I got here to do work today and what should I do? I don't know, I'll figure that out later. No, have it ready. Make it ritualistic that the night before, things are laid out for that day. That's the way you want to do it. So you get there, it's already laid out in front of you. Your list of people you're going to call is done. You don't have to formulate it. Have it done before you're even done with the previous day. That's going to get you in the zone a lot more. When you move somebody from a lead to an actual prospect, when they say, yeah, I'll meet you, when Kelly Brock gets on the phone with Z-Buyers, that's what happens. Yes, I'll meet you. Now they go into the prospect. That's more of a warm lead at that point. Move them over. Okay, we want to generate as many warm leads as we can, as many prospects as we can. Remember the funnel: lead, prospect, client, closing. That's what the funnel looks like. That's how you move them through. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I have for you today. Welcome to Rockstar Listing Agent. It's going to be a long series, and we'll go as long as you guys want until we just drill this down, because I want our company, above all else, to be out there competing and winning listings. So there you go, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, I got to run a 4 speed.